Welcome. This is a tarot reading for May, and it is a health reading because I'm splitting the readings up so that we get more detail for the collective reads, and it's basically for our it's really for our emotional health. I'm going to do it for the emotional mental health, and then the next reading I do will be more for physical health. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, and it's for it's a monthly reading. It's for May because we're still we're kind of going into June soon, aren't we? Let's just say it's for May, and then just to see how we're feeling at the moment, how things have been going, and then the next one we'll do for June. Okay, so thank you for subscribing, thank you for supporting. Let's see what we get. This is the health for our mental health, emotional health for May. Okay. The current health situation, the current mental health, emotional health. We have got here the King of Swords. Look at that. Oh my God. This guy just means business. Now, it does actually mean there's good news. Believe it or not, because the King of Swords can be quite cold and quite harsh, and it's almost like we've needed in May to just be much more much more cautious and careful with our own mental health. We may have felt ourselves quite triggered at times, so we've had to be quite cold, and just try to learn to switch off more emotionally or mentally from different scenarios going on in our life. Now, because the King of Swords is typically really quite cold and doesn't go into the emotions so much. So there's been this kind of need in May to kind of switch off from the emotions and become less over-identified with them, And when we over-identify with our emotions, that actually is pain body. Believe it or not, that it really actually is so unhelpful to do. And the most helpful thing you can do is learning to notice emotions when they come up, but then just disidentify from them and just allow them to kind of clear out. Because if you just focus on them too much, you just get more and more triggered and you start feeding the ego. So this is quite good energy, really, that we've kind of had this in May. And this kind of would signify, good news actually for our mental health, that we've been able to take a bit more control over it and say, yes, we can feel very triggered at times, but we're learning how to then take a step back from it and be quite cold and kind of observe ourselves and say, right, okay, what am I doing that is not helpful to my mental health, And actually the next card that's just showing as well is this one, where we might have been quite deceptive to ourselves and were we kind of lying to ourselves a little bit about our health mentally or emotionally. And now really the need to be more vigilant to it and not feed illusions in our mind, not allow our ego to just run wild with all its ideas and crazy things it thinks about. So there's been a sort of regain of control in May, and maybe being a bit cold towards other people even, just so that you can kind of get a bit of a grip on your own emotional and sort of mental health. So past issues affecting mental health and emotional health have basically this month been the fact that something hasn't completed. There's been something that hasn't been successful, and that's, the difficulty. So let's just pick a card to see what is it that's not been successful. I'm sure we can all tune into what that has been, but let's see. Okay, so it's been to do with our ability to take control of ourselves, really. This is like our primal needs, the strength card, where she's controlling. Normally in the Rider-Waite deck, this is controlling a lion. In this deck, it's, I don't know what that is, it's a hog or something, like some wild creature. And it's like, this is our ability to tame our own ego, to tame our own desires, our own animal instincts, if you like. And it's been hard. It's been hard to tame our animal instincts, and perhaps our addictions and things like that our obsessions. So the lack of success with taming those things, and the fact that you've been successful in one way, but in another way you haven't really been successful with it, and perhaps there's still been some addiction there or some desire there that you haven't really fully been able to heal, and that's kind of been affecting you mentally. So how can you sort of improve your mental health? What they're saying is that you need to move forward with your life. You need to move on, the Fool card. And it's hard moving forward, isn't it? Because where do you draw the line? Where do you say, right, now I'm drawing the line, now I'm moving forward? I do believe really everything's predestined, and I do believe that, the ego often wants to make that decision and wants to say, oh, I am now moving forward with my life, and I am leaving this person behind, or I'm leaving this relationship behind. And it's not always cut and dried like that. That's the ego, the super ego thinks you can just make cuts like that, and it doesn't necessarily work. And actually we have to kind of surrender to spirit, because it's all predestined, and sometimes it's just a painful waiting game, waiting to get to that point where the line is drawn, and then right, this is now time for me to step into my power. This is now time for me to walk away. This is now time for me to move forward, because moving forward would be the best thing for your mental health and emotional health. But it's just, I do believe the timing, because some people will be already doing this and some people won't be quite ready. Now that's interesting. The Hermit card reversed is about pushing people away. So it would actually be wise to just move forward and push certain people away, because that is what's been affecting your mental health, okay? Let's have a look. Actions to improve health. Well, this is very much the same. Now, this is a card of sort of being very, very careful, very, very cautious, and also can be the Miser card, very rigid, a very rigid card. Now it's in reverse. Maybe that you have to be a bit more flexible. You may have to be a bit more flexible and not so rigid. Because there was obviously some sort of obsessions or addictions going on, or there was some sort of lack of honesty going on, and it's affected you. And now you kind of need to basically be less rigid in the way that you do things, and maybe take the risk to move forward. And it may feel risky to move forward for some of you, and you may think, oh, how can I walk away from this relationship, or how can I walk away from this situation, because it's family, for example, or something like that. But they're saying it might be worth taking the risk, and it may be worth not being so rigid in the way that you do things. Six of Cups reversed, somebody holds on to an ex or somebody from their past. Somebody's holding on to somebody from their past and they haven't moved on. So you could have a partner that talks a lot about their ex, or you could be the one that's holding on to somebody and you sort of need to let them go. Let's have a look. The immediate changes, well, Four of Wands reversed. Acknowledging that your path is different to other people. Welcome to Awakening Tarot. Because my path is very different from other people. I walk a very different path, and that's why I know that people that watch this channel regularly, particularly the collective tarot readings, you're part of my soul family, and we're all walking this journey together, sort of, and we are different from other people, and we don't walk the same path as the mainstream path. And that's kind of what you need to think about, is the fact that you don't live a mainstream life. You don't have to conform to society or to conditioning that you've had. And, you can actually walk away. Eight of Cups means walking away. So you can walk away and do something that's not very conventional. you can live a non-conventional life. You know, you can even choose to commit to a situation that is not conventional, because that also means committing to a situation that's not very conventional. But you need to, there's definitely a sense of needing to walk away. So whether, you know, because like I said, sometimes we're not ready to move on from somebody, and it's just a super ego that keeps telling us, well, we should be moving on, we should be moving forward, it would be better for my mental health. Yes, it probably would, and it will be better once you're ready to do it, but you might not quite be ready, and that's okay. That is okay to accept that of yourself and surrender it to spirit, and know at some point it may happen or it may not, you know, you just don't know. But the most important thing is to not create illusions in your mind, because that was one of the messages that you know, you need to be more aware of the ego when it's trying to trick you into any illusions, because that's not good for your mental health either. And you might need to take a different approach. You may need to be less rigid, and you know, be aware if you're holding too much onto the past, you know. But I do feel there's somebody that you're connected to, because everything's a mirror, and I feel there's somebody that you're connected to. And yes, you may be finding it difficult to let go of them or step back, but equally they've got issues. I feel they've got issues about not being able to let somebody go, and that's blocking them, you know. That's what I do feel. They've got an issue with not being able to let go of the past, this person. They can't let go of the past, it blocks them, and in turn that seems to block you, you know. State of mind about your mental health. Look at that, 4 of Swords. That card is about sleeping, taking a rest. So, you know, that what you really, really want at the moment and need is a break. You need to be able to take a break and a rest mentally from whatever it is that's caused you strain, like mental strain. You do need a break from it, and you feel like you'd like a break from it. You'd like a break from all of this, really. But like I said, it's unfortunately we are at mercy of the higher powers, you know. We have our own free will. We do have our own free will, and we can exert our own free will, but will it produce any fruit? That is down to the higher powers, you see. That's why sometimes we'll go down a road, we think, well, we've got our own free will, but we'll just keep coming up against dead ends, because ultimately spirit is already predestined, and spirit's saying, yes, you can try, but you won't succeed at this, because it's not in your predestined path, you see. So what you'd like is a break from all of this, but you know, it's all divine timing. When do you get that break? Will you get that break, and when will it come? So we'll just pick a card to go with that one. Oh gosh, the Fool. Look at that. You do want a break, and you do want to move on. There's definitely a feeling to do with our emotional and mental health. There's definitely a feeling of just wanting to move on from a situation that feels like it's just been testing us. It feels like there's been games. It feels like it's been challenging, and you're having to be quite cold, or maybe even somebody's very cold towards you, and they don't open up. And it's like, you know, there's just not been success in terms of completely eradicating an obsession or an addiction or a desire. It's just there lingering, and you just kind of want it to be over. There's definitely a feeling of you wanting it to be over mentally, like you've really had enough, you know. But like I said, it's kind of down to spirit, and in a way the best thing you can do is embrace being being more present, because you can't keep holding on to past, but B, also accepting that you're just not a conventional person, you know. And I mean, I think that is the best thing you can do, really, because then you can have more peace around this drama, you know, around this aggravation. You can have sort of a sense of peace, because it's like, okay, this is obviously part of my predestined path, otherwise I wouldn't still be stuck with this kind of situation that drives me up the wall. But it's okay, it is okay really, because I'm not like everybody else, and I am different, you know, and I don't walk a conditioned path, you know, so therefore, you know, there's a sense of acceptance and peace. So you do want the break, you do want to move on from all of this, but it is hard. The path to start feeling better, it feels tricky because we've got the Nine of Swords, which is the depression card. So it feels like a real challenge to actually get over this situation. It feels like almost as if it's, I don't know, it's like your ego's telling you it's impossible to get over this situation. Oh, that's interesting. You've got the Four of Pentacles reversed again. They're definitely telling you not to be so rigid. You might just have got stuck in this rigid way of thinking about a situation or about a person, and that kind of needs to be challenged, because a lot of the time what we think about a person or what we think about a situation is actually our own mental projection. Maybe you need to change the way you're looking at something, and if you change the way you look at somebody, because you don't really know what's going on for that person, and if you change the way you look at them, that could actually really help. And then also if you change the way you look at yourself and just embrace yourself as you are, being a little bit eccentric and, you know, different. Oh, the outcome card. Oh, very interesting. You've got here the High Priestess reversed. High Priestess reversed could be information coming out, and also it could be warning you to take wise action at the moment. Just be wise, be wise, be wise, be wise. That would mean don't take any action and possibly wait for more information to come your way, because it could be that you're waiting on information, and when you get that information, that's going to be the sign of how you proceed or don't proceed. Because the matter could even get taken out of your hands completely anyway, because, you know, it's not really in your hands anyway. This is all down to spirit, isn't it? Oh, the devil. Oh, you know, you are kind of stuck with this situation, okay, until more information comes out. So until more information comes out, you're going to feel like you are stuck, okay, with a situation that is frustrating the hell out of you. And it's really hard because you want to walk away and you want to put it to bed and you want to sort of just start off fresh. But that is not how life works. Everything is predestined. Everything is energy. The only thing you can do is the process of disidentification. And when you disidentify, it just means that you're not placing all your focus on something or someone. You're placing your focus in here. And you basically tell yourself that the world's an illusion. And that process is the process of disidentification. And when you disidentify, that basically means you're putting all your power back in here. And that's what you can do. That is within your realm of power. And while you're doing that work, spirit will take care of the rest, because it looks like information's going to be revealed. And then something will be exposed, and then that will basically give you your answer on how you're going to proceed with something. And that's going to free you, because until you get this information, you're going to feel like you're a bit stuck here mentally with a situation or a person. So I'm sorry, because it's very binding, you know, it feels very binding, but just all I can say is practice the process of disidentification. Look up Ramana Maharishi. Ramana Maharishi, the guru who taught, that's what he taught about Don't over-identify with the world. The world is an illusion. Don't get sucked into the matrix. Everybody's part of the matrix, even the people that we love. Don't get tempted into samsara. Keep looking at spirit within, and just keep that practice as much as you can throughout the day, every day. It's going to help you bring your power back in here. Because unfortunately, you are kind of stuck with a situation. It's not easy to walk away from this person. They're either a family member or they're somebody that you've had an intense love connection with. Now, information is going to be revealed, but you must stay wise. Don't do anything rash. Don't do anything triggered. Stay very wise, very stable, okay? Because this person could even try to trigger you, and you must stay very wise. Don't fall foul to it. Don't drop your level of consciousness just because they are unconscious, you know, just because they are triggering. So just stay very wise, very calm, and wait for more information to come. It's going to come. Spirit knows you want to be released out of a situation that's been causing you mental strain. So just stay very conscious, stay very aligned to spirit, and what you will find is information is going to come your way, and then it will be easier to proceed, okay? But don't allow your mind, the mental health of the mind, to drag you down into lower energies, all right? Just remember, you're a beautiful divine being, and you are part of the awakening consciousness across humanity, and you can disidentify from the world. Everything in the world is an illusion. Remain in your power and allow spirit to decide what's going to happen with this situation, and it will all be revealed, okay? So that's the message. I hope you found it helpful, and I am sending you lots of love and peace. If you would like to book in, I am here. Do contact me. And thank you again. One love.